All right. We're Aidan of Oren, and we are chapter 6, Quilting by the Fire, and that's page 45. Yesterday, Aidan was, or last chapter, not yesterday, Aidan was talking to Grandmama about the hooded man that he met in the village of Oren. This one is called Quilting by the Fire. Later that evening, Aidan was washing dishes for Grandmama when he saw one of her friends, Nesta, coming up the path toward the cottage. "Well, this must be story night," he thought to himself. "Won't Lily and Mackenzie be excited to hear something new tomorrow?" He quickly cleaned up and went to his bedroom to prepare for the night. Charles was perched in the corner with his head tucked under his wings, but Aidan noticed that his eyes were still open. Aidan put on a clean nightshirt and noticed that the falcon's eyes were following him as he moved around the room. "Hello, Charles," said Aidan. "Why are you—"
"Oh, now you want to say hello,"
Charles interrupted.
"What's it going to be, Aidan? Are you going to talk to me or are you going to eat me?"
"We were just kidding," laughed Aidan. "You shouldn't be so sensitive." Charles just ruffled his feathers. Just then Grandmama walked into Aidan's room with Nesta at her side. Nesta was a funny, round little lady who was usually as bubbly and happy as could be. However, tonight she seemed preoccupied. As Grandmama was saying goodnight to Aidan, Nesta said nothing, and this was very odd. Aidan could hear the chairs being brought together in the fireplace room. He crept out of bed so he could watch the activities through a crack in his door. The women lit a great fire and various candles around the room. Just then, another of Grandmama's friends arrived. It was Glenna, a very thin and frail woman who loved to talk about her dreams. Just behind her came Winnie, a large and an imposing woman who was often difficult to deal with due to her unyielding personality. Each of the women brought out her favorite quilt and sat silently in a circle around the fireplace. Aidan watched with great anticipation. This is how it always started. They would quilt for a while, and then the floodgates would open, and they would talk into the wee hours of the morning. "I had another dream last night," said Glenna, breaking the silence. I had a dream also," shouted Nesta. "Oh, let me tell mine first. Glenna always gets to tell her dreams, and I rarely have them at all." All right," said Grandmama softly. "If Glenna doesn't mind, go ahead and tell your dream." Glenna nodded. "No, there isn't any hurry. We've got all night." Nesta squirmed with excitement as she began to talk. "Last night, I had a dream about a giant sugar muffin. It was huge, about the size of Winnie." "Is that really necessary?" asked Winnie, a bit perturbed. "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to give you an idea of its breadth and of the giant muffin," explained Nesta. Winnie shot her a warning look, but Nesta continued on. "Anyway, in my dream, I had ventured back to the stream to wash some clothes when I heard something behind me. I turned around, and to my surprise, the sugar muffin was following me. I went to the market, and again the sugar muffin followed me. Every time I turned around, the sugar muffin was there. I woke up in a cold sweat." "Saren, you're the teller of dreams. What does all of this mean?" Aidan heard the women of the village refer to his grandmama by her proper name before, but he had forgotten how beautiful the name was. "Saren, what does it mean?" Nessa persisted. "I'm worried." Grandmama stopped quilting and looked soberly at Nesta. An awkward silence filled the room as she sat back in her rocking chair and said, "Nesta, this is a very significant dream. I will reveal you its meaning, but only if you must know." "Tell me," insisted Nesta. "I've been worrying about this all day." There's kind of a funny picture if you're not in the book. There's a picture of Nesta, and she's worrying about this giant muffin that's following her around. "Well," Grandmama started, "it means—" "No, I can't. It might scare you." "You have to tell me," cried Nesta, almost frantic. I just knew the dream had a meaning. Is something horrible going to happen? No, said Grandmama softly. The dream means simply this. You worry about food too much. All of the ladies around the circle burst into laughter, even Nesta. Sarah, and you tricked me, she said. Winnie was laughing the loudest. It was a good thing because Aidan was laughing too. His hand was over his mouth to muffle the sound, and he moved away from the crack in the door in case someone looked in his direction. Glenna, said Grandmama, why don't you tell us about your dream? All right, she started. I had the most wonderful dream about elves. Oh, I love elves, said Nesta. Nesta, said Winnie, let Glenna tell her dream, please. Her voice softened and her face took on the demeanor of a little girl. They're always so enchanting. I love to hear about them. Glenna started again. The little elves were preparing for a celebration. They sang and they danced and they recited a special poem, and they kept saying over and over, they called it the wish poem. Well, what's so special about that? Asked Nesta. We all know that elves always speak in rhymes. This was different, said Glenna. The elf poem seemed to have great significance. Let me tell you what they said. As Glenna started reciting the wish poem, Aidan closed his eyes and listened. What beautiful words. Wouldn't Lillian Mackenzie be thrilled to hear this? When he opened his eyes, Aidan looked over at Grandmama and noticed that she was looking in his direction. He quickly pulled his head back. Maybe she hadn't seen him. Aidan quietly slipped into bed and pulled the covers up over his head. A wish poem. He thought, how fantastic. He silently recited the words over and over again, putting them to memory as he slowly drifted off to sleep. All right. That is chapter 6 of Aidan of Oren. Catch you another time. See ya.